Hello guys, welcome back again. So we're going to start 5B in this video, grammar bank from pre-intermediate level. I'm going to explain superlatives in this video and we're going to do the exercise relating to them as well. So let's get started. In our last video we discussed comparatives, how to compare two things. But now this time superlatives is from super, that means like the highest or the best, the most expensive, the lowest. So when we compare more than two things, when we compare two things, we use comparative. But when we compare more than two things, like it could be 3, it could be 30, it could be 3,000, it could be, for example, in the town, so there are so many buildings, so I'm comparing the tallest one. In these cases, we use something called superlatives. Superlatives. How we build it, as you can see, we use the. So superlative always comes with the article, guys. So the and then superlative adjective to say which is the biggest, which is the tallest, which is the most expensive. Again, as I said, we use them when we compare more than two things. Tokyo is the cleanest. You guys hear where EST. When the adjective is one syllable, we use EST. Like cold, colder, the coldest. Thin, obviously we've got double N, thinner for the comparative. So the superlative, the thinnest. The same rules apply, but instead of ER, we use EST to make the superlative. Okay. Healthy, healthier, IER, this is the comparative. So when I want to make the superlative, I'm going to use I, so I change the Y into I, and then I'm going to use EST, guys. So when the adjective is long adjective, like 2 or 3 syllable adjective, then we're gonna use the most, or the opposite, the least. The least, yeah, the opposite, the least or the most. And we got then irregular adjectives like good, comparative is better, superlative we use the best. Bad, comparative is worse, the superlative the worst. Far, further is comparative, the furthest, also the farthest. Also it works, guys. So this is the superlative. We have got the examples here. Spain is one of the most popular holiday destinations. So the most popular. There are some destinations, the most, a lot of tourists they go there. So Spain is one of them. So popular, 3 syllables. Popular. Because it's a long adjective, we use the most. Camping is the least expensive. The opposite of the most, we can also say the least. Because expensive is 3 syllables, yeah? Expensive. Now, here, point number 2, we often use the superlative with the present perfect and ever. This is the specific feature that we have to keep in our mind, or we need to try to memorize it. So the superlative comes with present perfect. It can come. I'm not saying it comes or it must come. It can come. So it's the most beautiful city I've ever been to. You see? I've ever been. This is present perfect. It's coming with a superlative. Or it is the best film I've seen this year. So that's the superlative. Now we're going to do some exercise relating to it. So let's move on. Okay, here you go. 5B. Exercise A is asking us to complete the sentences with a superlative. That's it. So is Shanghai the biggest city in the world? The big, the biggest. Generous, generous. Generous, someone, you know, who would like to give money to people as a help, you know. This is the meaning of generous. It's the long adjective, generous, 3-syllable. And obviously the superlative of it, the most generous. So the Polish are the most generous people. The most generous people I've ever met. Yesterday was so hot. The, we always use article, the article with superlative, guys. Yeah, don't forget that. So the hot, double T-E-S-T. Yesterday was the hottest day of the year. Early morning is the worst time to drive in the city center. She's friendly, so friendly. She is the friendliest, because there's why. She is the friendliest. So why I'm changing to I and then I'm adding est. She is the friendliest girl at school. Now important, 3-syllable, long adjective. So this is the most important part of the exam. Number 6, good. Good is irregular adjective. Superlative, the best. So the best time to visit New England is autumn. Number 7, Delhi in India is one of polluted. Polluted, 3 syllables. Again, we're going to use here the most polluted. The most polluted cities in the world. Far, irregular. So the farthest or the furthest. The furthest I've ever flown is to Bali. It was funny. So this is the adjective ending with Y. So Y we change to I and then we add est. Obviously it comes with the. It was the funniest film I've ever seen. 10. Rob's daughters are all pretty. So there are daughters, Rob's daughters, maybe 2-3 daughters. They're all pretty, they're all beautiful. But I think Emily, so I'm selecting Emily among them. So is the prettiest. Is the prettiest. That's it, guys. Now we can move to B part. Exercise B. Write sentences with a superlative and ever and present perfect. This is the point number 2. Point number 2 is here. As you can see, we often use the superlative with the present perfect. As you can see, the exercise here. The most beautiful city I've ever been to. It is the best film I've ever seen this year. So that's what we're going to work on. The first one, the example is here. It, good film I see. So it's the best film I've ever seen. Number 1. It, windy place I be to. So windy, we're going to change to superlative. So it's the windiest. It's the windiest, right? Place. Now I be to, we change to present perfect. I've ever been to. So I've ever been to. So we can make it a little bit smaller, just like that. Maybe we can change the color. There you go. It's the windiest place I've ever been to. Number 2, she unfriendly person I met. I'm going to write number 2 here, guys. So she unfriendly. So unfriendliest. She is the unfriendliest. She is the unfriendliest person I've ever met. Present perfect. We can also use unfriendly because unfriendly is a long adjective. We could also say she is the most unfriendly person. That's also works, guys. She is the unfriendliest person I've ever met, guys. That's it. Number 3. It easy exam we do. So it's the easiest exam we've ever done. So we can write here. It's the easiest exam we've ever done. There you go. That's it. Number 4, they expensive trousers I bought. So number 4, we're gonna write it down here. They are the most expensive is long adjective. So they are the most expensive trousers I've ever bought. Okay. Number 5, this long book I read. So it would be this is the longest book I've ever read. This is the longest book I've ever read. Like that. Number 6, he attractive man I see. So he is the most attractive man. So we can stick 5 here. He is the most attractive man I've ever seen. You see, I've ever seen. That's it. Right. Number 6. Oh, sorry. This is number 6. So number 6 is done already. Now number 7. Eat bad meal I eat. The bad, the worst, the superlative. So it's the worst meal I've ever eaten. The worst meal I've ever eaten. Present perfect, yeah? We're using here past participle. Number 8, he interesting teacher we've ever had. Have is the verb, so past participle it will be had. So he is the most interesting teacher. Number 8, let's write it here. He is the most interesting teacher we've ever had. That's it. Last one, number 9. It is exciting job I done. So it's the most exciting job I've ever done. Number 9. It's the most exciting job I've ever done. Okay. It's the most exciting job I've ever done. All right, so that's enough. We're going to stop here. 5B is done. And in the next video, we're going to tackle 5C. All right. So thanks for your time and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.